Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab, in the book. I'm back with the African origins again. I just left my little glorious book of light. They coincide with each other because the lessons I'm getting from either one of them got me conflicted. So I'm working on the two books, if you want to know. So I want to get you that heads up. We back to the origins again. We're going to talk about culture. Oh yeah, good stuff. All right, let's go. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily. You got to live it. Will help and guide you to what? Reach your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I get through, because that's what I do. And it's rhetorical. If you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and two. Maya, be true. We're going to talk about principles of culture expressions. And what they're saying is what I've been saying for the longest, and that's why I'm giving the lesson, because it ties into what I've been advocating. I like my fine stuff that can justify what I've been trying to tell you. So we're going to talk about culture, the purpose of culture, what is culture, the purpose of culture, and the study of culture. And if I got enough time, I'm going to take you over to break down what they call culture breakdown and folklore. They all go together. See the breakdown? See these circles right here? These are breakdowns and concepts that I'm going to break down for you. Hope if I get that much time. But let's go. Let's start with the culture. What is culture? The concept of culture will be an extremely important, if not the most important aspect of humanity. Why? To our study. And so it will be developing theme throughout our study in this chapter. The following principles, again, are offered as a standard for understanding what culture is. Across the board, universal. How it manifests in the world and how that manifestation affects other cultures. Let's go. Culture. The total and socially transmitted behavior, patterns, arts, beliefs, institutions, and all other products of human work and thought. That's the American Heritage Dictionary definition of culture. Purpose of culture. Culture is a people's window on whatever they perceive. Again, whatever they receive as what? Reality, to understanding the world around them and their concepts of self. Again, you got the right to believe whatever you want to believe. Because I believe different don't mean I'm right and you're wrong, because everybody has that right to what? Believe. Now, if what you're believing is wrong, that's on you to believe it. But your belief is whatever you want to follow, whatever you think is best for you. And that's what it's all about. And what's this? Culture is for the people. Okay. Culture is also, the purpose of culture is also, culture is a conditioning process and is necessary for what? Early development of what? A human being. Meaning child rearing, education system, getting ready for adulthood. All that's culture. Understand that. That's what religion helps keep the culture in some kind of cohesiveness, some kind of order. We call it Maya. Same thing. Okay, but culture defines the agenda of a society. Right now, we live in a capitalistic, money-grubbing, loving society. Ain't no spiritual love. Ain't none of that. It's everybody for himself. Okay, that's the culture in which you live in. Society dictates that. Well, you gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. That's why. And you got government economics. You have religion, and religion is the most powerful force that drives the culture. Whatever they believe, that's what they're going to do. But if you keep your religion in the context of what it is, tradition, purpose, it works fine. That's what it's intent. I know that. When you corrupt it, misuse it, abuse it, now you got chaos. So that's in anything. Not just religion, but just use religion as a understanding. They use the same thing in religion. Okay? Study of culture. Your cultural anthropology is the study concerned with what? Depicting the character of various cultures. Again, we understand that. And the similarities. And the differences between them. The ancient Egyptians taught the Greeks. The Greeks took over the ancient Egyptians, and they taught the Romans. The Romans took over the Greeks. The Romans took over the Egyptians. Okay, it was an ongoing thing. Everybody's taking over. We never took nothing from nobody. So that's the concept. But that's what culture does. And what's this? This branch of anthropology is only concerned with all cultures, rather simple or complex, and its what? Methodology. Entails a holistic view of field work, which is comparative and analysis, and both within what? The society and the cross-cultural. You have to check both sides. The Egyptians taught the Greeks. That's a fact. We just had, Traoré just had to embarrass a guy at Oxford, 60 years, 40-something years teaching. The Africans didn't create nothing to society. He's no longer a professor at Oxford. Moving on. When you have knowledge, understanding, and facts, you can speak those. When you just run off at the mouth, you can get checked. That's what difference. And the tendency to what? Base theoretical models on empirical data rather than vice versa. Again, they want to put their ideas over the data. Let the data dictate. That's what they said. If you're going to study it, right? And now watch this. Now, while this work may be considered as a form of cultural anthropology and ethnology, it will also serve as an overview of what? Theological principles, again, principles espoused by what? Cultures that's in question. The techniques used in this book to compare cultures will lay heavy emphasis on what? On the iconographical and the philosophical factors as well as historical evidence, as opposed to statistical methods and analysis that they make up as they go. It is possible now to focus on what? Apparent differences between the cultures and religious philosophies. We all have them. Watch this. And this have been the predominant form of philosophical discourse right there. Because we have a different philosophy, we shouldn't go to war or fight over it and study what? The Western scholarship. Y'all have Yahweh, Eastern has their way. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And watch this. The seemingly difference between religions have led to innumerable conflicts. Even today, between the groups throughout history. It's always been that way. Why do you think that is? Okay? But all because, why do you think this? Why? All because of the outer expression of religion. On the surface, it's universal, and that's what it's supposed to be. However, throughout this work, I will attempt to focus on what? The syncretic aspects of philosophies and religions in question. Why? Because it is in the similarities, and again, right there, wherein harmony is to be found. My pastor's a devout Christian. He's that Bible thumper, loving, living person. I got philosophy up the wazoo. He got one book, and we both got the same answer. So how you get it, where you get it, don't make a difference. I know now that I didn't get it from the Bible. He did. He didn't get his from all the wisdom. I did. We still got the same answer. So what that tell you? You can call it different, but if it's done right, you get the same results. And watch this. In this harmony, wherein harmony is to be found, where in harmony in the form of what? Concurrence in ideas and meanings. In light of this idea of harmony, it is possible to what? Look at the folklore, which is the words, what they say. Okay, it ain't written, it's spoken, passed down through generations. That's before we had writing. Egyptians and the Ethiopians had the folklore. Okay, and of culture and your traditions throughout the world. And you'll see what? The same psycho-mythological message. That's the same concept. I was going to do the same lesson, psychomythology, right here, same book, right? Different book, same concept. What's this? And the message that's being espoused through what? Through all your various cultures mass. They all, what's this? They are all referring to, I say it all the time, the same one supreme being, ain't but one, while giving commentary and adding notes which I feel will be helpful to the understanding of the text, which I will compare. But I have endeavored to use the actual text whenever possible so that you, the reader, may be able to what? See for yourself and make your own judgment, your assessment for yourself. And again, culture is everything a human being learns from what? Living in a society that includes the language, the history, the values, and the religion, etc. We all have it. In the hood, we got our terminology, we got everything urban, whatever. Okay, every culture has it. Folklore. But however, that's the outer learning mask of what? An inner experience. Spirituality is that movement to what? To transcend the culture and to discover the essence of humanity. Love each other, respect one another, treat people the way you want to be treated. All that's part of humanity. That's part of society teaching how the culture to perform as one. And this ultimate truth, what? This ultimate truth known by many names, which is God, okay? Such people, through culture and folk differences, colors the expressions of that reverence. He's this to them, he's that to them, but he's still the same. And what happened? This is what is called the folk expression, of religion. And it's only based on culture and local traditions. Watch this. For example, watch the same ultimate reality that is expressed by the Christians is based on European culture and traditions as God. The same ultimate reality is also expressed by what? The Muslims, based on Arab culture and traditions as they call God named Allah. The same ultimate and reality expressed on transcendental reality is worshipped by the Jews based on the Hebrew culture and traditions. The same ultimate transcendental reality worshipped by the Chinese is based on Chinese culture and traditions, etc. You see, we're going with this, so understand that. But if culture, if people, who practice religion if you just stay on the outer levels, basing your religious practices and wisdom on their myth and the ritual and the mysticism, what happens? The myth and the ritual relates to the folk expression. That's the story. Everybody got a different story that suits their tradition and religion. Whereas the mysticism, watch this, the mysticism reflects to that movement of what? Self-discovery. You got to do it for yourself. You can talk about God. You can believe in God. Everybody, I'm down with God. But until you have your own mystical experience, that's the purpose of religion, to get you to have that. That's the intent for all religion. I know that. Okay. Is it working? Not so well. Moving on. But the whole purpose is for you to have what? Your self-discovery that will transcend what? all worldly concepts. When you become spiritually inclined, you don't care about the physical world. Why? This is temporary. You want eternity. You want to get to that in Rantu, that place where the spirit just chill. Everything is cool. I'm dying to get there. I'm into whatever you want to call it. Feel the reeds. But you have three concepts of when you get spiritual, you let go of your worldly concept. The mysticism, the experience, the connection with God allows any person in any religion, whatever you profess, I don't care, it allows you to now discover that same supreme being is being worshipped by all under what? Different names. He told you that I'll be called by many different names and forms. Everybody got a different concept about him. And by what? Different means. Right there. If what you practicing is getting you blessed, that's what you should practice. Moving on. Never mind what somebody's doing, ain't doing. That ain't my concern. I do right thing philosophy. I know I do this, I get blessed. I don't need to be approved or approved by somebody else. Nope. God approves my action. Why? That's why I get blessed. And whatever religion you practice, the only way you're getting blessed is you doing the same thing I'm doing. The right thing. Okay? In his eyes. It is the worship itself. Right there. Itself. And the object of that worship that underlies your human movement, you can call them anything you want. So therefore, the task of all true mystics, spiritual seekers who want more, is to go what? Beyond the veil of the outer forms of religion, aka the forms of ignorance, because everybody do the first two steps. Most people get stuck right there. But when you go to forms of religion, when you including the symbols, but more importantly, the doctrine and the rituals and the traditions must be what? Practiced and followed by you, the individual, to get the full understanding. And right here, you see the circle. Remember, God is represented by a circle. Everything in that circle is God. You see right here, the culture. This is what the culture is your environment. Okay? And next is what? The folklore, the tradition that y'all follow. Then you got the ritual that you follow. You go to synagogue if you're a Jew, you go to church if you're Christian, the mosque if you're a temple if you're a Muslim. Everybody got a place to worship, different names, same thing. They all do the same thing. In the middle, that's where God dwells. So no matter what you practice, what's your tradition, Hebrews got theirs. Who are these over here? Okay, which one is this? Okay, the Hebrews, and you got the European culture. Everybody got the same thing, but in here in the middle, it's the same thing. Different things on the outside, but same thing in the middle. Get the concept? That's the whole idea. Whatever you're doing that works for you, how can you be wrong? If what you practicing is getting you blessed, how can you be wrong? And let somebody tell you that, you're a fool. My belief and what I know ain't up for debate. Simple as that. We ain't got to talk about that. Let me break this down for your culture right quick. The culture, which is the folk, the culture out of Yemen, the folk myth and the traditions and what you follow. The folk ritual, again, another follow. And if you're doing it right, you will have what? The folk mysticism. That means your God that you call, whatever you call him by, right here, the supreme being, beyond name and form. That's when you reach the level what? Of enlightenment. We call it Nihas in Egypt. Okay? They called it. And next one I got over here for you, the cultural myth models of two-world spiritual systems. Okay, we all have them, showing how the folk expression of each religion is based on the culture and the local traditions. And that's easy to understand. With the European culture, their philosophy, then they got what? Christian background. They folklore is based on Christianity. So they got the Christian rituals, they got the Christian concept, and the folklore, name of God, the supreme being, that's their concept. You got the Hebrews. They got theirs. The Jewish folklore, Hebrews to the Jews. Everything breaks down to, in the middle, the folk, name of God, everybody has a different one. The Hebrews call him Yahweh. Muslims call him Allah, and the Christians call him God Almighty. Don't make a difference. That's my emphasis on that. So what you call him to make a difference is how you worship him itself. That's the difference. When you make it personal, then you understand. Got the next paragraph. You break the get right up out of here. I see my clock. I'm gonna beat the clock now. In studying and the comparison and devising group of peoples, we are essentially what? Comparing their cultures. Again, cultures include what? All activities and manners of manifestation which a group of people have developed over a period of their existence. Culture expressions may fall under what? The following categories. An important thing to understand about this throughout this study is that the underlying principle and the purpose of the function of culture is giving society may be equal to that of another culture. They might do things different, but equal in how they living or how they doing it. But the mode of manifestation will invariably be what? Unique. Why? Because the exception to this is when there is contact between the cultures, and some coincidental similarities may be found between the two cultures that have never been, like how they got the temples over there, they got the concept, okay, how they get to that. Just happen to break out that way. And watch this, some people who have never been in contact with each other, they doing this on the other side of the world. How could that be? Moving on. But with each other, but watch this, but the frequency and the quality of those correlations belies what? The superfluity of the contact and of the random nature of correlation. It's just pyramids, everybody built pyramids, okay? It was the best structure, standing, still stand, okay? That was the concept. And similarity, all of them still standing, okay? And your similarities and the commonalities is pointing to the strong interrelationship what between cultures that can be expected when you comparing to apparently different cultures. Of the culture in question, you have sustained some form of what? Contact or emerged from a common origin, which is what? God. Everybody got God. So that's the common thread. How you perfect to get to him, how you worship, everybody, that's the culture, that's different. Hope you understand that. And watch this. The degree of parallelism and harmony between various cultures can be measured by what? The nature and the frequency or the synchronicity or the concordance of the factors from which culture being compared. If you're worshiping Jewish worship, you got them, you got Christians. Why they don't get along? Then you got the Muslims. Why they don't get along? Different cultural philosophies, different concepts. That's all. That's all. They do the same thing, pretty much. And the Jews and the Muslims seem to be a little bit more together. Why? They don't eat pork, so they got something in common. See, they find common ground, and they let that be. They fine with that. These are cousins. They ain't got no problem. Okay, moving on. Let me wrap this up. I see. But now, in the study of theology, and everybody has a theology or concept of the varied religious traditions of the world, your comparative religious studies, it is very possible to encounter some similarities in the general points of the philosophical conceptualization in reference to what? The institutions for the worship of spiritual beings, aka divinities or God. Everybody worship them different. In other words, religion itself is a point of commonality. That's it. In all cultures and all historical periods. Simple. But the basic common idea manifested by the cultures in themselves cannot be used as what? Justification for concluding that there is a common origin or a common culture concept being expressed by two different religions. Again, Islam, Christianity, they got the different name of God, but they don't see it that way. Moving on. So just because two religions espouse the idea that there is a supreme being or that the supreme being is one, a scholar cannot conclude that the religions have a common origin or that the concept and reference is the entity being worshipped is compatible. Scholars, I'm gonna let that go. So they say the factor of theology, which everybody practices, is there in both cultures. Yes, but the mode, again, of expression may be different. Again, yes, I got to get this over because I beat this like a dead horse to me. I know on this already, so let me just get rid of this out the way. But again, and even if it's not different, it may be arrived at by different means. I got mine through wisdom, studying, practicing. My pastor got his through living that Bible. We got the same place, different ways. Simple. That's what I've been telling you. And this is what? The myth plot system of the religion may contain various episodes which are not synchronized, but thus expressing a deviant theological idea which may be different, and through it may ultimately lead to the same philosophical realization. I call it knowing myself. He called it being anointed with God. He said God communicate him, put the message to him. I ain't got no problem understanding that. Why? I got the same concept, philosophy, a little different, but I understand it's the same thing. That's why, okay? In the forms of iconograph, it may show depictions of the divinities in what? Different situations, and engage in what they call different activities. But the rituals and the traditions related to the myths of religion may be carried out in what? Many different ways in different times. Again, Sunday is the first Sunday Christians do communion. I don't partake. That's not what I do. Again, respectfully. But these deviating factors point to what? A different origin for the two cultures in question. On the other hand, it is also possible to have their common origin and later observe somewhat deviance from the original expression, while the theme and the plot of the myth within all religions stays essentially the same. Tell you, they all want to get you to God, but different means. But if the two traditions are shown to have been in contact and they are found to have common elements in the basis of their tradition espoused philosophy, as well as the manifestation of their philosophy through what? Iconograph, artifacts, rituals, traditions, myth, plots, etc., then this determination suggests a strong correlation in what? The origin and or contact throughout the development of the cultures that's in question. The Jews had encounter with the Egyptians. The Egyptians had encounter with the Greeks. The Greeks had encounter with the Romans, and they're all different philosophical concepts. They're all different cultures. So it's been going on for a long time. In order to make a such judgment, it is what? It is necessary to have the identification and to match several essential specific criteria or factors confirming the commonality or the what? The coverance and the indications of the commonality and the origins or the common cultural factors, meaning they all start with what? That dot in the middle, God. The ultimate truth, the ultimate one, whatever name you go by, still the same one. And that's what they tell you about culture expression. We all express ourselves different. I respect everybody's belief system. I've been telling you that for the longest. That's why. I understand. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. It's time to go. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I never know my right thinkers who understand culture a little better now have passed away. I'll be back. Oh, I got a whole definition for some good stuff for you coming up.